Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So, it's been a couple of days since I last played this game, and it has so frustrated me. And it feels like what I did last time wasn't even particularly the wrong move until the exact wrong move I made. So we ran back here and we tried to run through everything, but now following the walkthrough, I'm not even sure I've done it all right. So I'm just gonna have to talk to this guard.
You must let me leave. I have urgent business elsewhere.
I cannot let you pass, Doctor. You're due in surgery. Dr. Mengeles' orders.
See, the problem here is just how easy it is to mess up. How easy it is to mess up and have to start all over again. Like, here, I'm supposed to always select the top answer, which I guess makes sense because this is some kind of personality and psych style game.
Why are you imprisoned here? You have the features of a man of intellect.
Is this an official interrogation, Nimdok? Or are you mocking me?
See, so if you were selfish like Benny and just wanted to eat things, you would lose. And that's kind of the same thing here, is if you're just selfish and try to find the lost tribe, you'll kind of lose.
You know me?
I thought I did, until you had me arrested for refusing to condone your experiments.
And so we've already been through all this, but it says go through all this again.
I know nothing of experiments.
Your sense of humor is as sick as your methods, Doctor. How can you act so innocent after having maimed or killed hundreds in the name of science?
And see, this doesn't work well as a video game to have a character that just doesn't remember things about themselves, then try and spend the entire game to reclaim all of that things.
You are saying we were colleagues of some kind?
Even games
ridiculous.
Where you do have
There's no need to distance yourself from me.
Forget things.
I was once your friend.
Usually,
now I am your
the
enemy.
vast middle section of the game has nothing to do with actually regraining your memories.
Why would I bother to have you imprisoned like this?
The regime needed answers, but I stood in your way.
With dialogue,
Well, now you have them.
and that's so focused around dialogue, not knowing so much, having to ask such basic questions, gets in the way of real revelation and real progress of the story, because we're just trying to hash out history here. How can we even move forward?
Do you know of the lost tribe? I must find it.
Haven't you taken enough subjects for your experiments, Doctor? Or are there more mass graves to fill?
So I guess now this is the top conversation piece that you...
I
just
know
exhausted.
nothing of what you talk about. This conversation is over.
So I needed to do
Continue
that.
your research. The extinction of the lost tribe is near at hand. The regime shall vanquish all of its enemies.
See, and now that's new dialogue.
A youth with 1945 stamped beneath. There is something familiar about this.
So I'm hoping now I'm back on track. If I'm not, then we're gonna have a problem.
Finally, Doctor. Everyone's waiting on your expertise.
So, I don't think I actually need to talk to this guy. Oddly enough, stabbing him is the right move. The only difference is somewhere around here there is another door. At least that's what they said. Yeah, there's this recovery room. So So I try to take this ether.
I'm sorry, Doctor. The ether is necessary for the surgery.
So use the scalpel on this guy. Is the right
Guards,
move.
come here quickly. Dr. Nimdok has gone berserk.
I must leave before the guards apprehend me.
Alright. So now I can take the ether and I believe there is a way to actually perform the surgery on the kid.
This must be the recovery room.
And so we missed this entire room, and that's why we lost. Let's look at the patient.
This patient will never recover.
Let's see. So use ether with the patient.
There is nothing I can do for him.
I don't have a scalpel anymore.
This patient has been too damaged by his surgery to live a normal life.
And so he's butchering them.
It
that's
is
obviously.
difficult to see what purpose this surgery serves other than to mutilate the patient.
Yes, and that's certainly what was going on during the Nazi regime, as doctors were making up ridiculous experiments with no other reason to than really just kill people they didn't like. Not only Jews, but lots of other people too. Gypsies, homosexuals, anybody who was not towing the party line. We have a vent here and a door here.
There is heat coming out of this vent.
So I guess we need to talk to these patients. I can't even talk to them. And I can't use the ether within you.
There is nothing I can do for him.
If I look at the...
It has been a long time since I have seen ether used as an anesthetic.
So...
There is nothing I can do for him.
And see, we're getting this music that sounds like an alarm, and I'm just not sure if maybe I'm running out of time, which that would be even worse. Let's push this vent.
There is a passage here.
So we'll escape out of this passage, I guess.
There is a passage here.
I guess I have to use the passage.
I smell burnt flesh, but this is obviously not a kitchen.
So this is definitely one of those scenes that the girl could see. I don't even remember her name now. But yeah, why she could see them and how that interacts, I guess it doesn't. At some point they must have thought it was going to. Let's look at this watch.
A gold watch. I am surprised its owner was able to keep it long enough to reach this place.
See, and it's a real shame I played this game right after the cat lady, because there are two very different types of horror. One is this fantastical horror. This is a very more sci-fi horror based in actual events, or possibly actual events. But it's so old, and its flaws have really just shown too brightly. So much so that, like I said, I was having trouble even getting back to playing this game. And when I'm having trouble coming back and finishing a game, because I usually play video games in 1-2 sittings if I can, depending how long they are, in short amounts of time. If I can't even get back to them, that's the number one indicator I'm not having fun with them. And the gameplay element here, I'm definitely not really having fun with. And then the story The thing about Harlan Ellison is I just did some research a little bit and found him on Twitter, and he's like 80 years old, so I bet his stories 40, 50 years ago were hugely important. But that's kind of the problem with a lot of sci-fi stories, is that what were amazingly new thoughts, like War of the Worlds is a great example of an amazing new concept of a story, it gets repeated over and over and over again in sci-fi, that it becomes commonplace and it feels just like cliched. And there was a great example, I can't remember the name of it, of this story that was made into a sci-fi TV channel movie. And was it called Tomorrow's Children or something? And the revelation in it was probably amazing when it first came out in the book form, but coming out in 2015, or maybe it came out in 2014 as a movie version of it, there's no real revelation there. It was very boring and blasé.
These pliers must be used for extracting gold fillings and teeth from the corpses.
I guess I need to hurry up here and not just sit
There
around
is
here.
an inscription on the watch, but it is written in Latin.
I've read the walkthrough through all of this, and I'm still very afraid that I'm going to do something out of order.
According to these records, hundreds of corpses were incinerated here.
So, let's look at the ovens.
These ovens are more monstrous than anything Am has ever constructed.
See, and then that just kind of says that Am isn't very imaginative, because those ovens are just very utilitarian, efficient. Alright, we have these controls, and I guess we'll use the controls. Hopefully we're not at the danger of dying.
These ovens are more monstrous than anything Am has ever constructed.
And see, the only help you get here would be to look at this. Scientific basis, an anesthesiologist is used as medical personnel to produce a loss of sensation. However, it may also be used to induce the subject under questioning to talk more freely. Let's push the ovens.
These ovens are more monstrous than anything Am has ever constructed.
And then use the ovens.
I have not felt such heat since I lived in the Brazilian rainforest.
So it seems like you can
I have not felt such heat since I lived in the Brazilian rainforest.
Seems like you can just turn it up. There's more, and then there's more. And then we have a passage and a door. So let's go ahead and save and go out the door. And now we've got a victim stuck in the wall.
This foolish man, he's tangled in barbed wire.
Let's talk to him. Let's try to be nice to him. I don't know which one's the nice one though. How could you be caught in this? I will summon a guard. I will call one of the doctors. you might as well call a doctor or a guard. They're both not good results.
How could you so foolishly be caught in the fires?
I was trying to escape, but I was so weak. I fell and got caught.
Why do you risk escaping in such poor physical condition?
That timing was hardly of my own choosing. I learned that I was to be among the next batch of volunteers.
For what were you being given the privilege to volunteer?
Experimentation, they say. Extinction is more like it. Surely you, of all people, know the regime's plan for the lost tribe.
I will summon one of the doctors.
No, I'm better off here than under the knives of you butchers.
I will call the guard.
Why? So the guard can taunt me as I die a slow death?
Then I guess there's nothing I can do for him.
There is nothing I can do for you.
You can at least help me end my misery. That would give you the pleasure of seeing another one of us die, you cold-hearted bastard.
So let's try to use the pliers with the victim.
Oh, that hurts.
Oops. It's trying to free him. Let's use the ether with the victim.
Oh, that feels much better.
So am I supposed to just, like, maybe give the pliers to the prisoner?
Here, you should be able to escape with this.
Pliers for cutting the wires? Yes, I think this would make escape possible. But don't think that one good deed will make up for all those poor innocents you butchered.
So was that something I was supposed to do?
I hope you're happy with the regime that you set up. Your science could have saved the world. Instead, it conquered it.
I have more conversations I can have.
What is the importance of the year 1945? It seems to have some significance.
Never forget the year 1945, Nimdok. That was when the truths about you and your unholy experiments came out.
Remember, this is supposed to be like in 2015 right now, and every single person except for Nimdok is a robot. We may even someday learn that Nimdok and the other victims of Ham are robots too.
I seem to recall that you speak Latin. What is engraved on this watch?
The engraving says time is truth. And since your time is running out, I'll keep the watch.
So, this is how you really know that this is like 5 or 6 Harlan Ellison books squeezed together. This story by itself would have been a fine short story, but squeezing it together with the potential like supercomputer torturing you, it's a weak connection at best. I guess I have something new to say here.
I am starting to recall that you do have cause to hate me.
Don't expect forgiveness just for giving me some pliers, Nimdok. The end is near for the regime, and when that time comes, we will hunt you down like dogs.
Here, you should be able to escape with this.
Is this a feeble attempt to make amends, Nimdok? This will only get me beaten if the guards found it on me. You'll have to do better than that.
Well, then I guess I'm supposed to give the ether to the...
I should keep this. It may prove useful.
Use ether with victim.
That feels much better.
Am I supposed to talk to him again?
The ether should relieve the pain.
I feel so lightheaded, so sleepy. That feels much better.
Am I supposed to use the ether with the guard?
I do not know what to do with these.
Let's talk to the guard.
Dr. Nimdok, you have betrayed the regime's trust in your abilities. You are to die in the manner of all of the regime's enemies.
Nimdok, I'm disappointed in you. You still have
See,
much
and
to
that's just
remember, much
the
more
problem
pain
with
to
this
feel,
game.
much to relive, much
Is
more to answer
how
for.
much did I
Yes,
moved
return to the
forward?
research camp later, when you're ready to search for the lost tribe again.
It's
Who
just like
among you shall go next?
ridiculously difficult with. I don't mind if I make a mistake and it maybe takes some points off or something, but to potentially make me go back to the last save I had is just ridiculous. So now I've got the walkthrough right in front of my face, even though I've read it all. And yes, this walkthrough I'm looking at isn't written perfectly, but that's hardly the only problem. It's not just that, it's how cryptic this game is. Yeah, I wouldn't need a walkthrough at all if this game was thought well through. Alright, so push patience, push that. Watch pilers and look at the records. Push open the door, talk to the men caught defiance. Use the ether on them and cut them free. Alright. So we now need to talk to this guy again.
How could you?
I was trying.
Why do?
We'll just skip all this conversation because we just did it.
For what?
Surely.
I will.
Why?
I will. There is.
You cannot. That would give.
See, and there's like, I don't even think there was any difference in any choice there. I think exhausting all that dialogue really did nothing. I have this feeling that
feels
most
much
of the
better.
actions, as far as conversations, don't matter. Use the pliers with him now that we've ethered him.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I heard this in the hospital when the doctor thought I was sleeping. Waken the sleeper, utter the truth, and kiss him.
He is free, but he has lost consciousness.
So, all that needed to be done in that exact order. And now I need to talk to this
I hope
person.
you are happy with the regime.
What is?
Never.
We'll skip this dialogue.
I seem to recall that you speak Latin. What is engraved on this watch?
The engraving says time is truth. And since your time is running out, I'll keep the watch.
And see, that may have been a mistake right there. Because that's actually... Okay, that was something we were supposed to do.
I am starting to
You want to make...
Alright. And I am supposed to give him the pliers.
Here, you should be able to escape with this.
Pliers for cutting the wires? Yes, I think this would make escape possible. But don't think that one good deed will make up for all those poor innocents you butchered.
So he's getting more and more green in his background, so happy. Let's now save. Now, this next step says go back to the surgery room. So if I go here, trying to go to the surgery room, will I get shot? No. It's just ridiculous that there would be a guard here in one instance and not in the other for no real reason. So he's been strapped in a different way, it seems. Alright. Now I need to talk to the patient.
This man's eyes have been surgically removed. The surgeon who did this has great skill.
So they cleared off the body and they did another surgery and did nothing else to look for me, really. Didn't set off an alarm.
Incredible! A wire connects this patient's optic nerve to a jar containing 2 human eyes.
So we gotta talk to him now. Let's see. Do I have to always be kind. That's all the walkthrough says is be kind.
Why
Like,
are your
I
optic
can even
nerves
tell which
wired
one
to
is
the
the
eyeballs
kind
in the jar?
Versus the unkind options.
Disconnect the wires.
That's all he says. I don't even have like a sharp item. It's so how could I disconnect the wires? Most games like this need like a firm established way of saying this is the kind response, this is the unkind response, this is the neutral response. Here you're just guessing, and you never know what tone any character is going to say something, whether they're going to be sarcastic or not, and then you end up saying the wrong thing.
What have you done to deserve removal of your eyes?
Please disconnect the wires.
So, use the ether on him again. I'm using this ether a lot.
This should ease your suffering.
The things I see now, a trinity of 3 beasts, one like us, one from the east, one from the steppes. They speak in numbers. A lost tribe of our brothers sleeping on the moon. They sleep in darkness, unseen by the beasts. Such a vision, so tiring. I have to rest.
So is he saying that there's a lost tribe of humans that Am hasn't really found yet? In 109 years? Isn't that how long he's been torturing them? That seems unbelievable. And then it just says take the jar, which doesn't, to my mind, feel right. It seems like I should have some kind of item that would cut the wires. But no, I just...
These eyes seem perfectly preserved, almost alive.
So I'm just gonna go step by step following the walkthrough. Here's the child. So let's look at the child that we wouldn't do surgery on.
I recognize this child. He was in the operating room.
So we'll go talk to him. Doesn't even give me which one. I guess I do them both.
How are you feeling?
I feel okay. I'm not hurt like the others here.
Do you know who I am?
You are Nimdok? You are more frightening in person than in legend.
What do you know of me?
The things you do are terrible. We small ones are your lab rats.
Are you saying that the doctors here have been using children for experimentation?
No,
Duh.
not all the doctors. You and Dr. Mengele sent all the good doctors to the prison yard.
So, I am a legend to you.
Yes, but we have our own legends. Legends that owe nothing to your regime. You will fail, no matter how many of us you cut apart.
Why do you say that the regime will fail?
The golem will finish you. It will not be mastered by your regime. The golem will wake up, and when it sees with its own eyes the evil you have done, it will turn on you and save us.
So this is the Jewish myth of the golem, basically. In times of great peril, the Jewish elders were said to be able to create a golem out of mud and clay that would protect him.
Get some rest.
We will not rest until your regime is destroyed.
So now it says,
There is a passage here.
says to actually go this way, but I guess I should save again just to make sure. One wrong move and I'm back to the beginning. I could see a player like spending days going back and forth, trying over and over again the same.
Emergency! The prisoners have seized the compound. Gather all research materials and evacuate to the bunker. Evacuate!
And see, now there's this box on the table where I'm supposed to use this jar with the box.
It is safely hidden in the box.
Interesting that the jar is in two places in your inventory spot now. Usually they would take it out of one and put it in the other, instead of having two of the same thing, or at least making it look like you have two of the same thing. So, hide the eyes in it, go outside, tell the prisoners you want to remedy your atrocities, and ask why they say you are one of them. Ask if they'll let you go. So they've escaped and they're attacking. Let's talk to the prisoner. Here we go.
You must let me go. With these materials, I may be able to remedy the atrocities I have committed.
You can't fool me, Nimdok. You are an unredeemable butcher. But you are one of us, like it or not.
He's one of them.
Why do you say that I am one of you?
You denied your heritage and turned your own parents into the regime. But you're still a member of the Lost Tribe. And that makes your crimes all the more heinous.
Does that mean you will allow me to go?
Since you did help us to escape, we'll give you a head start. Then we'll hunt you down and kill you like the dog you are.
I must leave this place. It seems I was once the wolf. Now, I am the quarry.
And see, now we've just had this massive jump, and there's this bunker, and this wall, and where are we? Mass grave. Let's see.
Faces. Faces of people in torture.
So you look at the wall and the mass grave.
I have not seen so many corpses since... my memory is not what it used to be.
And at this rate, we may very well do Ted's scenario too. So I'm just gonna run through the walkthrough here.
I know this place. Some of my greatest accomplishments were made here.
Bell jar. Teletype. Teletype is kind of like a Morse code machine, I believe.
The message reads, cease all work on Project Perfect Image. Confidential. The leader is dead, having looked on the face of the future using the prototype device. This leaves the regime ripe for invasion. Destroy all work in progress. This technology must not be allowed to fall into the hands of the enemy.
And so, apparently I'm not supposed to do anything with the bell jar right now. And everything else in this room is just here to be drawn. It's a shame there aren't more things you can play around with, but that would just add more confusion to the game. Let's see.
The legends are true. This must be the golem of lost tribe folklore.
If it is, why is it in his bunker? Maybe he was working for the Lost Tribe, got caught, and then got turned to the other side. Let's see. Use the switch next to the vat. So that just turned off whatever that is. And then I take this because there's a mirror at the bottom. Let's look.
I see a mirror. It was obscured by the light.
So, yeah, you don't even see it. You would have to have turned off the device, then look at it, then take
What
it.
is this mirror doing here?
So now we have this mirror out of nowhere. And then we look at the mirror.
Oh my God! It is true! 1945, turning my Jewish parents over to the Nazis for extermination. I have found the lost tribe. It is me!
So, it seems like all these characters in 109 years have forgotten a lot of things, and I think that's intentional. That Am specifically made it so they couldn't remember, to make them suffer even more. Let's see, look at the blueprints now.
Such a strange combination of scientific plans and mystic symbols. This has something to do with the golem, but the meaning is not clear.
So, it's pretty obvious we're gonna put the eyes in the golem.
These eyes fit into the golem's sockets perfectly.
I imagine if you'd looked at the golem, it would have said he's missing his eyes. Also seems strange that we had to do all that work to get the box, to hide the eyes in the box for no real reason. Maybe just so the game character did the same thing that the story character did when this was a short story. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Let's see, now we can talk to the golem? Let's look at the golem first.
This creature has eyes, but still he will not wake up.
Talk to the golem.
The man caught in the barbed wire said to waken the sleeper, utter the truth, and kiss him.
And then we heard time is truth. Golem, wake up. The truth is that this is all an illusion manufactured by Am. The truth is I regret any crimes I committed in my past life. Kiss the golem. Time is truth.
Time is truth.
And then, let's see. And Golem, wake up.
Gollum, wake up.
Then the one about 1945.
The truth is that for me, it shall always be 1945.
And then kiss the golem. So, did I have to really do all of those? Did I have to do Golem Wake Up? Or was it just time is truth, and the truth for me is it's always going to be 1945? And then we see. Follow me into my laboratory.
Gollum, follow me into the laboratory.
And then we walk on.
Nimdok, I was afraid I had lost you back there. It is good to see you and our new friend.
And so, who is this? Which doctor is this? Let's see. I don't even know if we know who this is or have seen him before.
How did you escape the mob?
Did you forget that the compound has a secret escape route? Well, no matter. I see that you have revived the golem.
You know about the golem?
Of course! Part of the master plan is to strip the lost tribe of everything, even their folklore.
I read the teletype. What is Project Perfect Image?
That was a secret project in the area of reflective surfaces. It bestows the clarity to see yourself with utter objectivity. Unfortunately, it worked too well.
See, and now that's a very interesting concept where you could tell a whole story on that. A mirror that shows you your true self. And yet we're barely gonna use it or see it.
You mean that it worked well enough to drive the leader into committing suicide?
The leader's death is a serious blow to us all. But our golem is more than powerful enough to destroy the lost tribe.
I looked into the mirror. I now remember everything with crystal clarity. The research camps, the serum.
Ah, yes, the youth serum. Your research demanded the deaths of many children, but your hard work was successful. Eternal youth for those who deserve it.
Maybe that's what Am is using on it.
Now I know how Am was able to keep us alive for so many years.
Your youth serum can sustain us forever. We have all the time we need to resurrect the regime.
Excuse me, Doctor. I need to get a breath of fresh air.
And so then we are supposed to use the mirror on this doctor. His name is Mingle, although it doesn't really say that anywhere. And it seems kind of ridiculous you have to use the mirror on him. Seems like I could just tell the golem to follow me outside and leave, which is the next step.
Oh my god! No!
So, what did he see?
Dr. Mengele is in a state of shock.
Oh, there you know his name, only at the end here. Alright, now we talk to the golem. I guess I could have told him to kill Dr. Mengele and I would have failed. Tell him to obey all my orders and I would have failed.
Gollum, follow me outside.
And so we go out again. Remember, this is just like 3 scenes in this
Nimdok.
area.
I knew that you would lead us to where the regime would resume its atrocities. We are here to make you pay for what you did to us. To pay in blood.
So I have 3 choices here. Destroy the Lost Trump, guard the bunker entrance, I'll return momentarily. Or I transfer control of you over to the Lost Tribe. So after jumping through some very particular sets of hoops, yes, it's obvious what to do. But I've had to do so many things and there was so many steps I could have done wrong that I imagine would have just killed me. That I could have taken 20, 30 attempts to beat this. Even following the walkthrough, it's not working well. It's not a straightforward path. It's confusing. It's muddled.
Gollum, I transfer control of you over to the Lost Tribe.
So, you admit your crimes. But that does not release you from punishment. Now the golem will serve the purpose for which it was constructed. Golem, kill Nimdok.
You're not as alike as I thought, Nimdok. The spark of humanity somewhere. Always that wretched little spark. You've confronted your past, but you refuse to continue your research. That's what I asked you to do. Since you now identify with your victims, I suppose it's only right that I let you experience their tortures too. Ah, You're the last player in my little game. I urge you, do not fail, as the others have failed.
So, it doesn't matter the order of this at all. It could have been any order at all. It wouldn't have changed anything up to this point, at least.
Hey, you're my favorite, baby. I mean it. I really can't stand all the rest of these people. Every one of them has some fatal glitch in personality. Whiners, freaks, crips, cowards, every one of them. But not you, Ted. No, my man, not you, Ted. You were a stand-up guy. You were a brave guy. Yes, a take-charge kind of guy. So, I'm going to give you, just you, the opportunity to get out, live some kind of life. I'm going to send you, you're going to like this, I'm going to send you to the Room of Dark. And if you can solve the puzzle of the Room of Dark, you're home free. You out, you're away.
So it's kind of the same thing.
Well, now, I know I've made you a paranoid, Ted. I know you're scared, but I'm your friend. 109 years, I'm your best friend. So overcome your fear. Enter the Room of Dark, and you can solve its mystery.
So, might as well save here. And we have two ways we could go. We could walk to the path, or we could walk to the arrow. What happens if I walk to the path? I so badly just want to, like, walk this way, and it won't let me. Maybe I have to use the path?
No, I can't go down into the mist. There's probably nothing down there, but then again...
Each one of these people has some severe, like, mental personality problems. That's the point of this, but it could have used so much more setup if they had shown each of these characters and shown their entire...
The arrow's
policy.
pointing toward the room of dark. Should I follow it or go the other way? Which is the worse of the two choices?
So, like forgetfulness, paranoia, hysteria. Let's see, use the entrance, or walk to the entrance.
Video screens. Each one shows a scene of some other place. Why? What mystery does Am want me to solve? Say, these video screens have palm print switches next to them.
So we're kind of back to that. Let's look at all the monitors.
This looks like the tire swing at the farm I grew up on. What does Am know about my childhood? Is he taunting me?
See, I'm just gonna follow the walkthrough, and so I'm gonna miss so much of this.
I'm not one to go hiking through. This forest is dark, foreboding.
I don't even know if looking at the wrong thing might actually somehow end this scenario and make
Why
me start
show me a
over.
rooftop? Why not a door? And why this particular rooftop? A castle, right out of the Brothers Grimm. I feel like there's something watching me from the windows.
And that's the same thing Ellen said. I remembered her name finally.
I never liked going to the circus. All those clowns with their phony grease paint smiles. You can't tell what they're really thinking.
So push this monitor. And we get
What sort of
teleported here.
intrigue is Am plotting this time? He's left me here alone. Still, I feel as though I'm being watched.
And so, is there a way back, or in the first decision, could you possibly have just gotten lost and gone to the wrong place?
This gargoyle is even larger than those at Penelope's estate in the Hamptons. This old drawbridge is in ruins. I don't trust it to hold my weight. This gargoyle is even larger than those at Penelope's
the
estate in
walkthrough's
the
telling
Hamptons.
me to look at everything outside, so that's potentially a lot of things. But I imagine they mean if you can look at it through this system. Like, walk and use gets interchanged so much. Talk to we barely used in this game. Swallow, I think maybe we used once in the entire game, not necessary. Push, we've used several times. Give, we've used a couple times. He's not saying anything when I look at the entrance. So I guess there's nothing else to look at. Did I really need to look at all those things? I don't know.
So typical of the castles I've visited in Europe. A beautiful facade disguising ordinary stone. Appearance is everything.
So now I'm in this weird position too, is I have to check back to see if we're getting close to the hour and look at the walkthrough. Look at all the tapestries, such rooms, read all the books on the shelves, go to Ellen's room. Ellen, interesting. I suppose I can look at anything.
I never realized that a knight's armor was so heavy. How were they ever able to fight?
Now, I'm hoping we can work our way through this scenario.
So many women have called me their knight in shining armor, but never Ellen.
See, and obviously Ted is it the same Ellen? Maybe, maybe not.
Why, that maiden looks just like Ellen. She seems so sad and so beautiful.
See, I don't know. Is this the guy in the orange jumpsuit that attacked Ellen, or is this Ellen's old husband? It's just kind of impossible. Or is his Ellen a completely different Ellen?
There is an evil in this room. I feel it all around me.
I didn't even particularly mean to go in there. Let's see. So we have a door here with the doorway. Further back. Can we use the doorway? Can we walk to the doorway?
This must be the bedroom of the lord of the castle.
So look at all the books.
Quite an impressive collection of books. Science, philosophy, tragedy, comedy.
And see, if we were just in a safe game, it would be totally fun to be able to wander around this castle looking for every single solution, playing with every single item. But they've utterly destroyed what makes point-and-click adventure games work by booby-trapping every action, or at least making it feel that way. This is why the vast majority of point-and-click adventure games don't particularly have any fail scenario. Now, there is the King's Quest style of video games.
Why, this is a collection of books on the black arts. There must be dozens of volumes.
Honestly, King's Quest games suffer terribly because you could die, to the point where I still really wouldn't want to play a King's Quest game on my own. I would have to follow the walkthrough completely through it. Except for the new reboot, which I think probably doesn't allow you to die like the old games used to. In the old games, you could die a lot, and it wasn't even like a fun thing because there was no autosaves or anything. Let's see.
Why, it's Ellen! Did Am tell her that I loved her? Was that the secret he was referring to?
And so, if this is Ellen...
Ellen looks so beautiful when she's sleeping.
That must not be the other girl. And we've got another doorway over here.
This looks like a chapel, but there's something unholy about it. It must be the gargoyles.
Yeah, they don't usually put gargoyles inside the buildings. Gargoyles and grotesques, which I think gargoyles are technically grotesques, were put on outsides of Gothic churches to show how ugly and scary the outside world is, and inside the church was the peaceful, holy place where you were safe and protected. That was at least the theory of it. I think there was a larger underlying desire to be more grotesque and scary in the artisans of the time, and since almost all art during those times were regulated and commissioned by the church, they came to an arrangement where the artisans could carve and paint whatever they wanted as long as they could justify it somehow Religiously. Speaking of justifications, this game really does just feel like a justification to tell these stories, and it's a shame. Harlan Ellison books, I never read them in school. They were never suggested as reading in school. I'm not sure if I could go back and look at every library to every school I went to that they'd even be allowed, because they are full of cussing, the ones I saw, and they're just a little too mature. So I imagine it's similar to what the Hunger Games is going to be in 30 or 40 years. I bet nobody's going to remember them that much or recall them that much. And so if somebody in 30 or 40 years made a Hunger Games video game instead of jumping on board and making it right when the movie came out, which is, I imagine, I'm pretty sure they did make a Hunger Games game around the time the first movie came out. That, yeah, 30, 40 years down there, if somebody talks about Hunger Games, it's going to feel very strange, and that's what it feels like here. Anywho, hopefully next recording is our last. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.